Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another super fall discussion here. It's so gorgeous. Just check this stuff out. It's happening. Leaves are turning. It's so beautiful in Vermont right now. I mean, it's beautiful every day in Vermont, but yeah, Trey Gorge right now. So, welcome to another exciting Minecraft discussion on all things well-being. And today, oh sorry, I'm Dr. Kimberly Quinn. I think I left that part. I got like so distracted because it's so beautiful today. Anyway. Today we're going to be we're continuing our discussion on personal freedom, because that's something I'm definitely into. I'm a huge freedom person, and we talked about, at least for me, when there's anything that kind of gets in the way of that freedom, it feels like a splinter. You know, you can still keep functioning, walking if it's on your foot, or it's on your hand, you like keep rubbing it and touching it, and you can still function and go through your day, but you can't go through your day fully focused on what you need to do, because the splinter is just sort of annoying, and it may hurt a little, and it gets red, it hurts a little more, and it takes your attention, away from your life, which means the people in it and the tasks you're doing, and basically your life minutes, right? So I think it's a super good analogy. Maybe it's a metaphor. Anyway, I got like 4:29 this morning, so if I get a little foggy, that's probably why. I was just done sleeping. Could have run laps around Vermont, but anyway. Okay, so personal freedom. So we start off with don't take things personally, which a lot of you let me know you really like. So thank you for that. That feedback is great. Some of you found my email. Some of you found me in person, and it's just good to know, because it kind of like lets me know what direction to go in when I know what viewers are watching, which is just fantastic. And we now know that like taking things personally is just sticks a huge pin in our happy bubble. And as Don Miguel Ruiz says, author of the Four Agreements, this is sort of like the ultimate expression of self-importance. Because think about it, we're making, even if they're saying it about us, we're just sort of internalizing that as being all about us. And to me, and actually I had a friend slash colleague say this to me, talking about, we were just having a discussion about this. For me, it gives me a visual, like when we take things personally, of shackles, just being like wrapped up in chains or something, because I can't even be free. It also opens the door for drama and this toxic internal dialogue and just blah. So it's kind of like the Nike commercial, right? With a little swoosh. Just say no to taking things personally. Just do it. Exactly. And then we had don't make assumptions, which is very close. And as far as the Four Agreements, I'm going to guess these are probably not in order, but there are four, and these are the four. We'll do the last one in a second. And then the assumption making. The only way to truly know what someone's about or what they're thinking or feeling is to ask them. I know. Simple yet profound, right? And yet we get caught up in this mind reading thing. We think we know what, especially with partners, I'm thinking, right? We tend to think we know what they're thinking and feeling, and never mind the texting thing, we talked about that, or the email thing. And that doesn't even involve, oh, what a handsome guy, huh? Giovanni. That doesn't even involve any like facial stuff or tone or anything. It's just like and it's ridiculous. And then we're reacting off something that's not true, and then they're reacting to what we're reacting to. So there's no truth, back and forth, and that doesn't go anywhere good. And the gossip thing, which is nothing more than verbal venom, like spreads like cancer across this world. So like just do a hard stop on that. And then what we have? Oh, be impeccable with your word. And we talked about impeccability, or the word impeccable, and I did look it up, and it does mean without sin. I got that from the vault. But it was correct. So it means to be without sin, and we talked about making that meaningful for you, because obviously the only meaning anything has is what we give it, right? Otherwise, it's just a word, or it's just a weed, or it's just a beaver pond. Look, they're starting another one. It's kind of like a mother-in-law apartment next to the big ones. Kind of cool. So the only things that have meaning, well, the meanings we give it to them, right? And so. Being impeccable with your word, you can think of it as a universe, source with a capital S. I am Catholic, and I don't mind saying that. I mean, that's how it is with me. So for me, it's something. For me, what it means is something gets between myself and God, like a splinter, right? It's a splinter, which also means to me, since we're all divine creatures, we're all connected. Lots of people say that across cultures, across the world. Call it what you want to. Even Carl Jung, right, famous psychoanalyst, talked about the collective consciousness all being connected. And so for me, it's a splinter that gets between myself and the creator of all things, and between me and my own self, like being my highest self, being on my highest vibe, being my very best self, living my very best life. And so, like I said before with the splinters, once I feel like I have one, like it's something I reacted to, something happened, who knows, something I need to reflect on, when I feel that splinter, I literally almost can't go on with my day because I'm so in tune with myself and who I am that I have to like get the splinter out because I can't stand it. Okay, so that's to be impeccable with your word thing, because otherwise it causes splinters in us and then we cause splinters in other people. Because if we're not impeccable with our word and we say hurtful, damaging things, which we're humans, so of course that's going to happen to some degree, but when we pay attention to it, remember attention and intention, right? Obviously it'll be dramatically reduced if we're aware of it and we can, we're thinking about, saying something, we hit the pause button and we don't say it. That's great. And then with small children, how huge this is, because then they internalize that stuff, goes right in the vault. That's not a good thing. Partners, everything. So watching what we say, so we say what we mean and mean what we say. That was the other one. Again, not in order, I'm sure. I'm quite sure. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, and the last one is with Don Miguel Ruiz's Four Agreements, is always do your best. And that may sound so cheesy, like we say it to little kids, teachers say it to kindergartners, and parents say it, and and we might even say it to a partner or sibling, whatever. And it sounds cheesy, but it's so real, because I'll tell you why it's so real. Is I have had more than a few, I've had lots of students who are recovering perfectionists. I mean, and you might chuckle, and they do too, actually, when I say that. In reality, though, being in a day in their lives, or a week in their lives, or a month in their lives, would be pretty eye-opening and very challenging if that wasn't your thought process, because they are so restricted. It's like having a ball and chain on each leg, because it's mental prison, always trying to measure up to that bar of perfection, which is obviously impossible, at least to do it consistently, right? And it's who said that? Oh, it's coming. Anne Schaaf, I believe her name was, who said, perfectionism is self-abuse of the highest order. It's just so abusive. It's just so abusive. And, sometimes it comes from obsessive compulsive thinking. We talked about that, right? And how it's a spectrum, and how, anywhere along here, just because life doesn't land here or there. Same thing with perfectionism. Need things to be a certain way here. And then there's like the whole middle, which might be super debilitating, but people are functioning and looking great on the outside, outside looking in, things look fine, but they're really exhausted. And then we have perfectionism over here, where, a student, you literally can't turn in a paper because it isn't perfect. So, weeks go by, then the assignment's overdue, then it's not accepted anymore. Not with me, because it still would be, but sometimes not accepted anymore. Late fees, of course, though. But sometimes they can't do it unless it's perfect, or whatever other ways they're measuring themselves up against perfect, which is obviously unachievable, at least for any length of time. And, straight A's, great feeling, awesome, but nowhere to go but down, that kind of thing. So the opposite of that, which is far healthier in really every way possible, is to set the bar, do our best. It sounds cheesy, it's real, because think about this. Our best isn't going to be the same when we have the flu. We only want to say the Rona, put that out there. When we have the flu, or when I didn't sleep for 3 nights in a row, we're up with a child throwing up, or we're up with a partner throwing up, or we're up with a fast head that doesn't want to go to sleep, or we missed, we got in a bunch of meetings, missed breakfast, missed lunch, and now it's dinner, and especially for hypoglycemic, I'm like a little race car, eat all day long, and then you didn't. Oh, there goes the puppy. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Giovanni found a little friend. I want to make sure it was okay, which it totally was, but he was going to follow them up to the top of Burnt Mountain, so we had to do a little Yui. Okay, so always do your best. So we talk about, our best will be different than if we wake up hit the ground running, have some OJ, and a good, breakfast and all that, and we're up and at it, slept well, maybe have a nice early morning conversation with a partner or your dog or whatever, and you hit the ground running, our best is going to be much better. Also, if we're writing in our gratitude journal, like I do, and a little mindfulness, and also setting an affirmation, priming your day, you're gonna be able to do your best at like a here level, versus if you wake up with the flu, or you didn't sleep, like I said, for a bunch of nights, or your head's full of preoccupations and things like that, or a series of unfortunate events, like the tire pops and this pops and that happens, and can still turn that around. Though we talked about that. And it also comes into mindful giving versus mindless giving, right? Because if we do less than our best, then we're gonna feel like regret, like, man, I could have done more. I could have gotten more out of this conversation, this lunch with this person, that run, that ski, that like why was I was like slacking. Just have a talk with myself, because I could have given more in whatever volunteer situation. I could have given more at work, at school. I could have done better on the paper. Woulda, coulda, shouldas, which is kind of rigid, thinking that we don't like and it's not healthy. And those woulda, coulda, shouldas are on my list of the terrible tend to delete. So doing less than our best doesn't feel good because we just know it in here. Good T-shirt, isn't that? I have like these in like 3 different colors. I got lots of compliments today. It's in the syllabus. And when we overdo, that's also mindless giving, because those who are, maybe that you're in codependent mode, or it might not be as extreme, but running yourself into the ground for the optics, for the external approval, that's all codependent behavior, even if it's like, remember, spectrum, here-ish, and then there's the middle, and there's totally codependent. But running around, burning the candle at both ends, to just like to be a human doing, to feel better about yourself because you did a million things for a million people. Not saying it's not good to do things for people, of course it is, but when that's where you're getting your self-esteem from, it's just good to take a look at that, because that's just not healthy, right? So that leads us to mindful giving. And the difference? Mindful giving is like when that friend might call you at 3 o'clock in the morning, who's your best friend in the world, soulmate, or just a really super close person, and you're like at 3 o'clock in the morning, but they wouldn't do that unless their heart was aching and something happened, and you stay up with them. You might be tired physically in the morning, but you're not tired emotionally, because and this is not a taking advantage of situation, this is like authentic, like your authentic friend, and wouldn't bother you unless it was huge, kind of thing, and that you made a difference in their life, being there and actively listening to them when their heart was aching from whatever it has happened. That's mindful giving, right? Or there are all kinds of ways to mindfully give. Somebody in front of you at the grocery store comes up, $8 short for something, and you can tell they don't have it, and you just say, "Oh, go ahead, put it on mine." Mindful giving, because you feel great. It's $8. Who cares? Not that isn't a lot of money. Sometimes I'm not saying that, but you're just saying that's mindful giving. And the difference between mindful giving, that's not about the ego, it's authentic, because you feel a charge from it. You actually feel a charge from it, versus mindless giving, which has us feeling drained, because that's about the ego, wanting to impress and get approval from, externally, and, doing all kinds of running around, running ragged to do this and do that and produce this and produce that, all for optics and stuff. It's exhausting even talking about it, honestly. And then the mindless giving with just not doing enough, because I just know I could have done way better, and I'm disappointed in myself, and that's not good either. So what we want to do is do our best, like spot on, no more, no less. Always do our best. And this is a bar that we can reach, because it's adjustable. So again, adjust it to the flu, adjust it to you just went through a horrible breakup, adjust it to you woke up and hit the ground running with some good OJ, maybe a power bar, and you feel like you have the world by the ass. Just adjust it. But no matter what, I'm thinking of Melissa Estrus concert right now. I just have to say this before we hang up here. I went to a Melissa Estrus concert with my bestie from growing up, and she's a total Melissa groupie. I knew exactly one song come through my window, which was very good. But she got us like front row seats. And actually, like, where is she going with this? I'm going to tell you in just a second. she was like front, like on the stage, and like she was right there. I mean, like literally 4 feet from me, and they were all like, waving, and Melissa took my hand and put her guitar pick in my hand. Yeah, we like bonded in that minute or something. It was really cool. It was super cool. So where I'm going with this is even though I didn't know her work super well, I love that "Come Through My Window" song. She's great in concert if you ever have a chance to do it, because she's just so real and so amazing. So she said this whole thing about all we can do. We do our best every day in every way. We do our best every day in every way, and then I can go to sleep. I can sleep at night, right? I feel good in my skin. And yeah, I do my best every day in every way. That was Melissa's message to her audience. So yeah, she was amazing. Okay, so set the bar at do your best always. Also a word I don't usually use often, but this is okay because the bar of do your best is adjustable. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from gorgeous northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.